What's up, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to yet again another episode of the Sinister Files. For those of you new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. If you like what you hear and see, remember to hit that like button and subscribe, and turn on the notifications to stay up to date on all my newest content. So for today's episode, I'd like to discuss the Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible. It is one of the largest and probably one of the most strangest medieval manuscripts in the world. Dark legends surround the tome and its origins, and the full-page portrait of the devil increases its air of mystery. But what is the manuscript really about? The Devil's Bible is famous for two features: its size and the unique representation of the devil. The Codex became known as the Codex Gigas, the giant book, due to its immensity. It is also large, and it took more than 160 animal skins to make it. It is so heavy that two people are needed to lift it. It measures 36 inches tall, 20 inches wide, and almost 9 inches thick. It weighs about 165 pounds. According to the legend, the medieval manuscript was made out of pact with the devil, which is why it's sometimes referred to as the Devil's Bible. The uniformity of the writing suggests that it was written by one scribe, and the story says he was under immense pressure when he created the book. The story behind the making of the Codex Gigas is that it was a work of one monk, Herman the Recluse, who was sentenced to death by being walled up alive for breaking his monastic vows. As a last chance for survival, he made a deal that he would create a book filled with the world's knowledge in return for his life. His proposal was accepted, but his freedom from death would only be granted if the monk managed to complete the monumental manuscript in one night. The only way the monk could see himself completing the insurmountable task was with the help of the devil. After selling his soul, the scribe was able to fulfill the order and gain his freedom. The legend claims that in this pact with the devil, he explained why the Prince of Darkness is depicted in such a prominent way in the Codex. However, it is not known where this legend started, and it is suspected that it was religiously propagated. Although the story of the pact with the devil is a rather far-fetched analysis of the level of uniformity of the Latin text, it does suggest that it was written by just one scribe. The person may not have been Herman the Recluse, but it was likely a 13th century monk who lived in Bohemia, a part of modern Czech Republic, according to the National Geographic. It would have taken one person working continuously day and night 5 years to create the contents of the Codex Gigas by hand. That's excluding the illustrations. Therefore, realistically, it would have taken at least 25 years for the scribe to create the codex from scratch. Yet all this time, the writing retained its incredible uniformity from start to finish. This may be the source of the legend, which says that the monk wrote it in just one day. Originally, the Devil's Bible was comprised on 320 volume pages created with the skin of 160 donkeys, but at some point in its history, 10 pages were removed. It is believed that those 10 pages were the rule of Saint Benedict, a guide to living the monastic life in the 6th century. The Codex Gigas contains a complete Vulgate Latin translation of the Bible, as well as 5 other major texts. It begins with the Old Testament and continues with the Antiquities of the Jews by Flavius Josephus. Smaller texts are also included in the manuscript, with the most famous ones including writing on exorcism, magic formulas, and the calendar, with a list of saints and Bohemian people of interest and the days on which they were honored. As an illuminated manuscript, there are illustrations and decorations found throughout the Codex Gigas. Many of the drawings are impressive, but the most famous are the full-page drawings of the devil and the heavenly city, which are facing each other. The devil is depicted as a large, monstrous figure taking up entirety of hell. He is drawn with large claws at the tips of his outreached arms, red-tipped horns, small red eyes, and a green head, and 2 long red tongues. He's shown crouching between 2 large towers and wearing a loincloth. This material was usually used by royalty, and it may be a nod to the devil as the Prince of Darkness. Even though the portraits of the devil were a common occurrence in medieval art, his depiction in the Codex Gigas stands out for presenting him alone, all on one large page. Across from the devil is a full-page representation of the heavenly city. It is shown in tiers of the buildings and towers behind red walls. Towers are also projects from the walls, and the heavenly city is bordered with 2 large towers. Like the devil portrait, the image probably was meant to inspire the ideas of hope and salvation and contrast the evil nature of the devil. Taken together, the portrait and the city probably were meant to be a reflection on what would await you if you lived a good or bad life. The text before the heavenly city refers to penitence, and the text after the devil is about the exorcisms. The devil and the heavenly city are only illustrations occupying full pages in the Codex Gigas. The true origins of the Codex Gigas are unknown. In the text, there is a note stating that the manuscript was pawned by the monks of a monastery in Sedlec in 1295. From there, it was located in Brno, near Prague. Since the monasteries associated with the early history of the Codex Gigas were located in Bohemia, and the text refers to the area's history, it is generally accepted that it was created in Bohemia too. The next mention of the Codex Gigas is when Rudolf II took it to his castle in Prague in 1594. It stayed there until the Swedish siege of Prague and the end of the 30-Year War in 1648. The Swedish army looted the city, and one of the treasures they took was the medieval manuscript. That's how it ended up in Stockholm. In 1877, the Codex Gigas became part of the collection of National Library of Sweden in Stockholm, where it is still found today. Stories and legends say that the Codex Gigas was cursed and brought disaster or illness on whoever possessed it during its history. Fortunately for the National Library, it appears immune to the curse of the Codex. So thank you for watching another episode of the Sinister Files. Remember to like and subscribe, and to stay up to date on all my newest content, go ahead and turn on the notifications. Thank you for watching.